Café Anyway. Hey, that's what the name of the place is.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
That we're at. Mike's Daily Podcast. It's Mike Matthews at Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Mike's Daily Podcast. The last place on earth. It's Mike Matthews, and I've got someone on the show today that is not a sloth. His name is Nick Roth. He's got lots to do. He's making movies. He's writing scripts. He's doing dissertations. And it's Mike Matthews, and I made a reservation to speak with him. And so we are going to speak, he and I. It's going to be Mike's Daily Podcast. Fascinating. But we won't do the whole show singing. This is just the singing part. I like to sing, yes. Mike's and I'm done with it. Daily. But I learned a lot. Podcast. Talking to Nick. Yeah. I did. I think I did. Because it hasn't happened yet as of this point of the Café Anyway show, Mike's Daily Podcast. I was, anyway, thinking of when I'm going to talk to him, what I'm going to ask him. That's what it was. I'm looking into the future. Is what it is. But he is going to be at and premiering, screening for the world in Oxnard anyway. Oxnard, California, the lovely town I grew up in and went to high school in, fell in love in, walked on the beach, walked sometimes. Oh, I was really into jogging back then. So I would, in fact, interestingly enough, having to do with the movies, a lot of the movie Bridesmaids was filmed in parts of Oxnard that I remember jogging at as a kid because I wanted to be Mr. Cross Country Champion, which I definitely was not. Whatever the opposite of champion was, that's what I was, and I was proud of it. But he is going to be at the Elite Theater Company in Oxnard. There is a Central Coast International Film Festival happening this Saturday at 3:45.
And here's today's podcast
And we're
picture.
going to have as a podcast picture today something of snow, because the movie he's doing has a lot to do with snow. No, not cocaine, but the actual snow and beautiful snow side scenery, and a crazy story unfolds in a house in the snow. And the late great Basil the Boxer actually met snow once. He actually was in the snow up in Mount Shasta one time. And that was the only time. But we'll have a picture of that. See it at mikesdailypodcast.com. And now it is Nick.
Woo! That was great singing.
Thank you, Nick. Everybody is Nick Roth here, a TV writer, TV film I'm doing all these different labels. Am I in the ballpark? TV writer and independent filmmaker is what I meant to say.
That's probably the most accurate anyone's ever said, my title. Yeah.
And he is the creator of a movie called Hanky Panky. And he reached out to me in the email, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And he said, Mike, I've got this premiere. I don't know if it's a premiere. Is it the premiere? Or it's a screening?
Well, it's a screening at a festival. It's our first time screening in Ventura County, so I'm calling it our Ventura County premiere.
God, and it's at the Central Coast International Film Festival, which is this Saturday, February 3rd at 3:45 p.m. at the Elite Theater Company.
That's right. It's a relatively new festival. I think this is only their second year, but they seem really cool.
I'm trying to remember the Elite, because I basically grew up in Oxnard, Ventura. Oh, that's right. It's in that nice house.
That's right.
That big building. Oh, I don't think I ever saw any shows there. It looks really cool.
Oh, good. I have never been, so I'm looking forward to it.
Currently, they're showing the trial of Mother Jones. Interesting. Well...
Oh, I don't know. Is that a play? I don't know what that is.
I think it's a play, yes. Oxnard Cultural Arts Center. Well, so, Nick, I got to watch your movie, Hanky Panky.
Oh, my goodness.
I watched the whole thing.
Think?
Well, I'm so amazed you even found me, because I'm the perfect person to send this to, because I love mysteries. I love murder mysteries. And though I don't remember seeing all of Clue, I may have... Yeah, I still got to sit through Clue. But this, it does...
Clue is, that's the murder mystery par excellence. You got to see all you have to see Clue with all the different endings and the whole thing.
Yes, but you have your own spin. I love your spin of this, in that they're in a cabin. And where was this filmed? It's so beautiful, the snow, and some of your actors are sinking into the snow. I'm like, how the heck did they film this?
That's all real snow. We shot this in northern Utah.
Oh, wow!
And we sort of lucked out. We ended up there during a record-setting blizzard. And as we were prepping the film, it dumped about 5 feet of snow on the ground one night, and then it snowed a lot while we were shooting. So it was there. I don't know. Everyone was talking when we shot this. It was a long time ago because it took a really long time to edit. I don't want to say when, but recently The Revenant had come out, and we were like, our movie's going to look just like The Revenant. We're just going to be out here in beautiful blizzard with gorgeous light. So the movie has no business looking as good as it does. It looks great.
Yes. Oh, now I got to go watch The Revenants, because I love that snow and that feeling that you have there, that you've captured in your movie with the snow and you're trapped, but there's this comedy going on, and I don't know, the first 20 minutes I'm going, what?
Yeah.
What? And then everything gets explained. So I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, in the editing room, we spent a lot of time thinking about whether we should explain more things up front, and ultimately decided, you know what, this is a weird movie. Let's let it be weird, and a little bit. Let's make the audience ask a lot of questions at the beginning, and then we'll slowly unravel them. So I like movies that do that. I think this one does quite a bit.
And you are in the movie. We all had to be. There's a very small cast and crew. Everyone who's in the movie was also the crew of the movie. That's amazing.
There's only 15 people who worked on this movie in any capacity.
And you have a man bun in the movie.
I did at the time. I don't anymore. I think of it as just a bun. I don't, you know what I mean? We don't call it a lady bun when it's on a lady.
That's true. Okay, well, when I had hair and mullets were big, I tried to do the ponytail thing. I wanted to be the cool guy, but my hair is curly, and so it always was I never had it accumulate on the top of the head. Uh-huh. Which a man bun typically does, or the hair is, sitting up on top. It was always in the back because you wanted to look like, I don't know, George Washington. Didn't those guys, right, when they're signing the Declaration of Independence, they all had ponytails tied with ribbons?
Was your hair stark white too?
Yes, it was stark white even back then. No.
That's the cool. I have dark hair, but if I had stark white hair, maybe one day I will. You'll do that. Then I'm definitely going to do the founding fathers look.
It was a holdover from the British, I guess.
I think it's a huge move in a man's life if you move from ponytail to top knot, because it really opens up a lot of doors. You can rest your head more comfortably on a seat, in a car.
Right.
There's a lot of things that make it a more functional hairdo if you have long hair.
Top knot. I'm going to call it a top knot from now on. Not man.
Yeah, I think that's a good term for it. I don't think there's a really good reason to gender the hair.
Well, I have Natasha Lyonne to thank, because in an episode of Portlandia, she referred to it as a man bun because she goes to a concert with the Flaming Lips, and there's a guy in the audience that has such a thing, and a top knot. And I see a lot of those now, and this came out, about 10 years ago. So, but I will call it that. Yes, let's make it universal. And
I'm almost positive that at some point around 10 years ago, I would have been at a Flaming Lips concert with my hair in a man bun, for sure.
Okay. I wonder if they're still touring, but
I don't know. I've seen them live a couple times. They put on a hell of a show.
Oh, fantastic. And then you have, let's see, I didn't IMDb everyone. So, but it feels like everybody I saw on the screen was someone I've seen before in something else.
You know, a lot of this cast are sort of like, okay. We made this movie. We're a group of friends. Like we're all close friends. My co-director is also my wife, Lindsay. She's also in the movie. She plays Rebecca. It's a very close-knit group of people. But we all sort of grew up in LA and knew each other. And you know, most of us have worked somewhere in the entertainment industry. And so I was like, well, we have a group of friends who are talented actors and, you know, are working in television and whatnot. And we have this cabin that we can go to in the woods. Like, what else do we have? Let's make a movie, ensemble, cabin, I guess, you know, horror, murder mystery. Everybody's going to get killed in that cabin. That's got to happen.
Amazing.
And the movie just writes itself after that. You know, once you have a cabin and you know that you're going to have like a sentient handkerchief at the heart of the film. But everything after that sort of just falls into place. It
makes total sense. The sentient handkerchief. That was very cool. Wait, did it say who the voice was of the sentient handkerchief?
The handkerchief is voiced by Toby Bryan, who did all of the puppeteering for the film. And he's worked a lot as a puppeteer. He's a great puppeteer. He was like a puppeteer for Chance the Rapper, and he's built he works on the team that builds the masks for The Masked Singer, and he's very talented. He's also an actor. He played Norm in the film. And he's just like, you know, a super close friend. And he will be, I think he's coming with me to the screening on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I was very amazed at how you were able to make handkerchiefs and hats do things that I didn't think they could do, and give them personalities and then And you built that ice cabin, or was that an actual ice cabin out there? What do you call it? Ice lake fishing cabin.
Yeah, the ice fishing shack that's an actual frozen pond. And definitely the hardest part about making this entire movie was like disassembling and removing an ice fishing shack from the middle of a frozen pond in like 5 feet of snow and hauling all of that wood out of there. It was very cold and a lot of work.
Oh my gosh, that sounds dangerous. Because what if, the thing goes out underneath you?
It might have been the ice. It was pretty frozen. It was a very cold winter. That cabin's at like over 8,000 feet of elevation, so it's like, we were shooting in sub-zero temperatures sometimes. It was very, very cold. That lake was frozen solid.
But yet, here we are, a bunch of folks that are probably all from California, basically, or have lived most of the time in California. Now you're in the freezing cold, and you're having to.
Look, I have to admit it. I don't know if she'll want me to say it, but my wife is actually from Las Vegas. She was born in Nevada and came to Los Angeles only as a 6-month-old baby and has been here ever since. But
so
I can't say that we all come from California because we don't.
Okay. Well, I mean, even Vegas in the middle of the desert, and now you're in the ice cold. That's very good job, Lindsay.
Yeah, no, I think she did great, and she looks like a sexy ski bunny in the movie. It's great. It's a good look for her.
Yeah, I didn't know what was happening with her and it was her brother, right?
That's right. Toby plays her brother. And they're like brother and sister. They're not. But Toby's like, that's their relationship in real life too. Yeah. Except without the sort of incestuous undertones.
Yes. Well, how much of that was...
Imagine. What does this sound like, this movie sounds like with what I'm saying about it right now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
People that are listening to this podcast, I know they must be at the very least intrigued, because
that's what I'm hoping. It's intriguing.
It is, and it's beautifully shot with all the snow and the very nice looking cabin. And I thought you guys rented an Airbnb and just showed up and started filming, but it's very nice.
That's where Lindsay's dad lives. Lindsay's dad, Jimmy Hahn, who, shout out to Jimmy, he's also the composer. He did all the music for the movie.
Oh yeah, very nice music. Kept me on the edge of my seat.
He's a composer and he lives in a cabin in the woods. So we were like, okay, we got this cabin. We have friends who are funny and who are actors. Let's just go.
And he has a pinball machine.
Yeah, we played a lot of that pinball machine.
that I didn't reckon. I played a lot of pinball as a kid. I'm trying to remember. I remember more the ones that had the you'd have the really beautiful. They went totally crazy with the painting at the whatever you call that at the back of the pinball machine.
The back glass of a pinball machine.
The back splash.
Back glass.
Back glass.
Back glass. Yeah. I don't know why I know that. I don't know why I know the parts of a pinball machine. I shouldn't.
Well, here in the Bay Area in Alameda, there is a pinball museum. And so you see all these things. But yeah, sometimes it would always be something that would grab your attention. It could be women in bikinis. It could be some kind of cool spaceship. I don't know. But so you were, did you write it actually? Or was it was co-written? No, you did write it. I saw that on the credits.
So I'm taking credit for the script, but really this was truly a work of collaboration between our whole group. The whole main cast are also producers on the project. We all sort of collectively own it. It is, we had no budget. It was really, truly just like a group of us we had made a lot of shorts and music videos together and stuff, and we kind of got tired of doing it, and we're like, let's make a feature. Who can write the script that we can shoot the fastest? And that was me. I was able to write a script faster than anybody else. But then everybody worked on it collaboratively. We did like a weekend of just of where we got together for a couple days and everybody did sort of like improv based on like scenarios that we wanted to be in the movies. And so everyone really had a say in developing their characters. And then a lot of the script literally got written just by the availability of when we had actors. So let's just say that without giving anything away, that the order of who gets killed largely has to do with production related necessities. Oh, interesting. Because other people had to go. And yeah, people had to get out or do other things. In some cases, maybe, hold the boom or whatever. And, and so we had to kill off the characters. Wow. How do you write a script that fast? Are you doing it all on like a tablet or a iPad or just a laptop, or are you using paper and pen? I wish that I could tell you that I was like, well, I rented I went to the cabin and by myself in Wyoming and on my typewriter, like what's his name? Taylor Sheridan. I almost said Jim Sheridan, Ron Sheridan. But no. It's a laptop. Actually, one thing that we would do is that I think is cool is for table reads, we would hook the laptop up to a projector and project onto a wall so that everyone was reading off the same script. And then also, if we saw things or thought of things or character or actors improv things, we could put them right into the script, like in real time, collaboratively in a room together. It was kind of like a writer's room in some way. Oh, is that typical in Hollywood? No. It's typical in television. I worked on the staff of a TV show for many years, and I was a writer. But it's not typical in features. I'm not really sure why, because it's a very fun way to write. And Nick, you also teach at CSUN at Cal State University Northridge, or? That's right. I'm an adjunct professor of cinema and television arts. Shout out to CSUN. I teach whatever they tell me to teach there. I teach cult cinema, which is weird movies, which is very fitting. I also teach sometimes American film history and basic stuff. This movie is going to be a cult movie. It has all it's like things you'd want to watch. It's something you'd want to watch with your friends. Yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Is it feels like it's a very sort of quotable, rewatchable. It's sort of silly and fun, but there's more and more into it. The more you watch it, the more you start to find new things. That's the goal. And wait, you teach cult movies? Is that one of the? So one of the classes that they always have me teach is on cult. Yeah, it's cult cinema. It's a lot of fun stuff. Next week we're doing El Topo by Alejandro Jodorowsky. We do Rocky Horror and Videodrome and Hedwig. A lot of fun stuff. Tank Girl's on there. A lot of fun movies. Wow. And then my cat just walked in. Are you going to do that cat movie with the what's that? It was like a horror movie. And
not Natasha. What's her? Oh gosh, I think it was in the 80s. Cat People from the Moon. I can't think of it now. Cat.
Yeah, it's escaping me now too. I think I know what you're talking about. No, that's not on there, but it probably should be.
I'll look it up.
Whatever this is.
Yeah, I merely asked that question because my cat just walked in and asked that. So it's just Or
so we should just teach a class on like any movies or like related to cats in any way. Like,
yes.
Listen to Doja Cat and like watch movies like with Catwoman.
And didn't Disney do The Cat from Outer Space?
That sounds like something that they may have done in like the Shaggy Dog era.
Yes, it was during that era, and that the main cat was voiced by Bob Newhart, I think. Or
he is the perfect casting for the voice of a cat.
I guess Disney then used him for The Rescuers, so he was big with Disney at that time. So, but yeah. Well, I would love to take your classes because I'm sure it'd be fascinating, and just the type of movies you would pick would be really cool. And
you're welcome anytime because that one's on Zoom. I can send you the link if you ever want to drop it.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I can do it from Podcastro Valley. And I almost went to CSUN. I ended up going to UCSB, but I had a lot of friends going to CSUN, and I mean, the commute would have been about the same because I was living in Oxnard.
Right.
So that would have been cool. I could have been a CSUN alumnus.
We had similar but opposite paths because I went to UC Berkeley, so I lived in East Bay.
You were up here.
Came back here.
And did you do much with the movies up here?
No, what was I doing? I was like trying to like play music when I was living in the East Bay. I wasn't really doing movies yet.
Oh, okay. Were you with a band?
I was in a very mediocre pop punk band called Urban Achievers. Shout out to my good friends from the Urban Achievers. We played a large number of shows, and we're relatively unsuccessful, but it was a lot of fun. I love all the members of that band dearly and still keep in touch with them.
Urban Achievers, and I'm sure you played some interesting places up here around the Bay. Sure.
We did. We played everything from like high schools in Marin to like the historic venues like Gilman and whatnot. But,
wow.
It was
and when did
it was not a great band.
It was.
I played guitar.
Urban Achievers, though. I'll look it up. Is there anything on SoundCloud anywhere?
No, here. So amazingly, wonderfully, thank God. This was just before. Everything was on the internet. So we all of our stuff was on MySpace, and that it just disappeared eventually.
It's still there. I think somewhere. I found one MySpace account. I had a couple different ones going, and one of them is still around. It's weird, but
ours just got it wiped off the face of the earth at some point.
And then what got you into movies to actually, what was like one of the first film projects you did?
Oh, both my parents were people in the film industry, and like everybody, like I grew up in the film industry and I ran away from it. I was like, no,
I'm not going to get sucked into this.
Destiny. And I got sucked back in after grad school. I actually, my dad and I went and worked on a Chinese movie in Beijing for a really long time. We like wrote a Chinese film together. It's a really, really long story.
Wow.
But that was my sort of first adventure back into like, okay, I guess this is more fun than my dissertation in English.
What was that one called?
My dissertation was called Potential Cinema, Closet Film in 20th Century Fiction, and it was about experimental fiction that's written using screenplay formatting. So it's like there are examples of novels and poetry and people who take the format of screenplays and use them within literary works, but they're not meant to be like made into movies. And I'm the world's foremost authority on that topic, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. Because it's just me and two other guys. Yeah.
And are they the two other guys? Are they around? Are they close by? Can you knock them off?
One of them close to you is my friend Quimby, who I met because we were the only two people that I could find in America working on this very esoteric niche part of film and cinema and English literary studies intersection. I think he's in, where does he live now? It's not San Jose. It's one of the suburbs of San Jose.
Oh.
He's up there somewhere.
Okay.
Fremont or something? I think he's in Fremont. I can't remember.
Yes, that's close to San Jose.
And the other guy I've never met, but he's Japanese. He's a Japanese scholar who writes this stuff. Because there's a lot of Japanese writers from like the 1920s who, well, actually just Yunosuke, who is like a big Japanese writer who the father of modern Japanese modernism, I think, is what he is known as. But he wrote a lot of this stuff. He was using film scenario form in the 20s to write interesting fiction.
And Nick, you also have in this movie, shifting gears back to your movie real quick, because I didn't want to miss.
Why am I talking about any of this? Nobody wants to know about this.
No, they do. We should keep going. So, do you think the current modern influence, or what is the influence of that genre on the current movies and TVs shows today? Do you think?
Oh my God, the influence of which genre?
The genre of which you were doing your dissertation on.
Oh, wow. There is none. It's sort of like, I don't think anybody sort of pays attention or knows about this. That's why I wrote about it. I was like, nobody knows about this really weird, super weird stuff. I guess probably in interesting ways, there's all kinds of fun things that are like the legacy of how things influence and sort of trickle down. Somebody writes something, someone else reads it, and 50 years later, that influences another movie. For sure, that happens, and I'm influenced by all this weird stuff in ways I probably don't even know about.
And this was published, your dissertation, to like.
Can
we find it?
If you happen to be walking through Ithaca, New York, and you want to take a brief moment to step into the Cornell University Library, you will find a copy of my dissertation there.
Oh, okay. But you got to be there to do that. To go.
I bet you probably can get the PDF. I can just ask me. I'll send you the PDF if you want.
Okay. I need to learn these things about.
Nobody wants this. Nobody wants this. The movie is fun and light and doesn't require having a PhD to understand what's going on. I promise.
Well,
my character in the movie is largely making fun of my own experiences in academia.
Yeah, because you're a professor in the movie as well. But
well, not really, but he is a sort of like academic and artist, and I love Dr. Crane, my character, but he's the sort of buffoonish, extreme version of my worst academic impulses.
And then you start speaking French.
Yes, all the French is incorrect.
Okay, so I should not try and use that when I go to
don't
France.
pick up anything that Dr. Crane says in French.
Okay.
In the movie, every single thing he says is wrong in French.
And the yoga gal, the yoga instructor who went to TWAT University, and she's like a marriage therapist.
Yes.
And okay, so
that is the brilliant actor Ashley Holiday Tavares playing Diane in the film.
She was wonderful. And my lovely lady friend particularly liked her because she also is a marriage therapist, and she is learned to, she just finished school. It was a long course to be a yoga instructor. It took like over a year, and she had to do all these demonstrations and take notes and go to people's other classes, and I had to do yoga, Nick. It was amazing because she would work out her moves on me, and that.
Oh yeah, I do. I got to do yoga every day, or I can't move my body.
How long do you spend on yoga every day?
Not like 1/10 of the amount of time I should.
Dang. Well, that's great, and then you feel more flexible and more calm.
I feel less in constant pain. Yes.
Wow. See, Nick, that probably was one of the reasons why Ashley's character was in the movie.
Ashley's character is in the movie because we were like, Ashley is hilarious and incredible, and we need to write a character that showcases that.
Well, she was great, and I liked all the different things that she was doing. And then
we should have her on the pod, but she got mouth surgery yesterday, so she can't talk. Yeah.
Oh, and then she found
some kind of thing.
She found some kind of mushroom out there in the snow that was particularly potent.
Yes. This is, I am sad to say, a fiction device.
Oh.
The moose mushroom is not a real thing. We invented it. But,
well, all of that.
You step in whatever kind of mushrooms you want in your imagination for the moose mushroom.
Yeah. I'm like, in the Bay Area, we got mushrooms growing everywhere because of all the moisture, but you don't necessarily want to eat it because you could die. But that's...
You have to know what you're doing with mushroom. And Diane does, clearly.
Do you have a website for the actual movie, right? As of yet?
HankyPankyTheMovie.com.
HankyPankyTheMovie.com. That is so easy to remember.
Yeah, and if you mess up and just write HankyPankyMovie.com, guess what? I bought that domain too. And it just redirects to HankyPankyTheMovie.com.
Brilliant. Wow. So it's all there. That is so... You're internet savvy. You've got to be with all the websites, and you got to make sure that people are going to the right place. But
you have to learn a lot as a truly independent filmmaker. You have to learn a lot of things that you didn't think that you would have to learn. Like, I would love to just be a screenwriter and write these things and then somebody pay me to go away and then go and make the movie. But you got to see the whole thing through right to the end.
Even take down the ice fishing shack at the end.
Yeah. You gotta dispose of an ice fishing shack by yourself. You have to, figure out how to buy a domain on GoDaddy. Shout out to the fine people at GoDaddy, I guess. That's where we bought the domain.
I should have went with GoDaddy. Someone told me to use my domain, but I've heard so many good things about GoDaddy, so I don't know.
I have, well, honestly, nothing to say good or bad either way.
Oh, okay.
I've never used any other thing. I'm not a web expert, but I did build the very impressive, very serious, very professional HankyPankyTheMovie.com website.
Well, I'm going to go check that out, and not to be confused with Madonna's song Hanky Panky from the Dick Tracy movie.
Yeah, not to be confused with that, or as I found out well after we were underway on this film, there's also an underwear company called Hanky Panky. They're very
what?
Big. And yes, you will mostly find them if you just search for Hanky Panky. That's why we're Hanky Panky the movie, not Hanky Panky the underwear.
Okay. Thank you for steering us in the right direction.
You're welcome.
It's thank you for reaching out to me, and
I'm so happy I did.
Me too. And I'm going to learn all kinds of things about screenplays and writers that write in cabins with their paper and pen, and all the stuff that I didn't know. I'm going to expand my universe. So 345, the Central Coast International Film Festival is when, but you're going to be, your movie is going to be showing at 3:45 p.m. at the Elite Theater Company in Oxnard this Saturday, February 3rd. So
thank you so much for having me, and this was very, very fun.
Yay! As we go outside of Café Anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth. Oh, there's a couple people we need to say hi to.
Hello, this is Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. I want to do a movie about snow globes.
Snow globes. That is a thing. That'd probably be. How has it been that all these toys, like the movie Toys and the Barbie movie and all these other things that you get at a toy store or Toys R Us when it existed, you can't get, there's no snow globe movie. We got to work on that.
Yeah, Mike Matthews, I want to do that. I want to become the next big star. Mike Matthews.
Well, you will be with your snow globe movie. But the movie Hanky Panky had a lot to do with snow. I cannot believe how they were able to act in the snow, like up to their waist in freezing snow. Ugh. I was very impressed. And doing comedy as well. Look who else is here. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Mike, yes, working in snow can be quite a very difficult experience. Yes, and rain, which we're getting some of in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth, Ameritopica. We will get to more topicas next show, and make sure if you want to call in and maybe you have a question for Nick, I will relay the question to him and get you an answer, perhaps. Here's the phone number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
And with more ways to listen to the show, to contact me, to see the podcast pictures and all that, to tell you all about that, it is A-Frame.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye.